cross rates and chain rule. Let us now see how exchange rates are calculated in India based on quotation in international market. In India, buying rates are calculated on the assumption that the foreign exchange acquired is disposed of abroad in the international market and the proceeds realized in US dollars. The US dollar thus acquired would be sold in the local interbank market to realize the rupee. For example, if the bank forecasts a CHF 10,000 bill, it is assumed that it will send the Swiss franc at the Singapore market and acquire US dollar there. The US dollar are then sold in the interbank market against Indian rupee. The bank would get the rate for US dollar in terms of Indian rupees in India. This would be the interbank rate for US dollars. It would also get the rate for US dollars in terms of Swiss francs at the Singapore market. The bank has to quote the rate to the customer for Swiss franc in terms of Indian rupees. The fixing of rate of exchange between the foreign currency and Indian rupee through the medium of some other currency is done by a method known as chain rule. The rate thus obtained is the cross rate between these currencies. 1.10 Forward exchange contract. Forward exchange contract is a device which can afford adequate protection to an importer or an exporter against exchange risk. Under a forward exchange contract, a banker and a customer or another banker enter into a contract to buy or sell a fixed amount of foreign currency on a specified future date as a predetermined rate of exchange. Or exporter, for instance, instead of a grouping in the dark or making a wild guess about what the future rates would be, enter into a contract with his banker immediately. He agrees to sell foreign exchange of specified amount and currency at a specified future date. The banker on his part agrees to buy this at a specified rate of exchange. The exporter is then assured of his price in the local currency. In our example, the exporter may enter into a forward contract with the bank for 3 months delivery at Rs 49.50. This rate as on date of contract is known as 3 months forward rate. When the exporter submits his bill under the contract, the banker would forecast it at the rate of Rs 49.50, irrespectively of the spot rate then prevailing. Date of delivery. According to the Rule 7 of FIDI, a forward contract is deliverable at a future date. Duration of the contract being computed from the spot value date of the transaction. Thus, the 3 months forward contract is booked on 12 February. The period of 2 months should commence from 14 February and the forward contract will fall due on 14th April. Date of delivery under forward contract will be, in case of bills, documents, negotiate, forecast, or discount. Date of negotiation, forecast, discount, and payment of rupees of customer. In case of bills, documents sent for collection, date of payment of rupees to the customer in realization. In case of retirement, crystallization of import bills and documents, the date of retirement or crystallization of liability, whichever is earlier. Fixed and option forward contract. The forward contract under which the delivery of foreign exchange should take place on a specified future date is known as fixed forward contract. For instance, if on 5th March a customer enters into 3 months forward contract with his bank to sell GBP 10,000, it means the customer would be presenting a bill or any other instrument on 7th June to the bank for GBP 10,000. He cannot deliver foreign exchange prior to or later than the determined date. We saw that forward exchange to a device by which the customer tries to cover the exchange risk. The purpose will be defeated if he is unable to deliver foreign exchange exactly on the due date. In real situation, if it's not possible for any exporter determine in advance the precise date on which he will be tendering export documents. Besides internal factors relating to production, many other external factors also decide the date on which he is able to complete shipment and present documents to the bank. At the most, the exporter can only estimate the probable date around which he would be able to complete his commitment. With a view to eliminating the difficulty in fixing the exact date for delivery of foreign exchange, the customer may be given a choice of delivering the foreign exchange during a given period of day. An arrangement whereby the customer can sell or buy from bank foreign exchange on any day during a given period of time at a predetermined rate of exchange is known as option forward contract. The rate of which the deal takes place in the option forward contract. For example, on 15th September, a customer entered in 2 months forward sale contract with the bank with option over November. It means the customer can sell foreign exchange to the bank on any day between 1st November and 30th November. The period from 1 to 30th November is known as the option period. Exchange contract regulation. While booking forward contract for customers, banks are required to observe that the exchange contract regulation are complied with foreign exchange management. Foreign exchange derivative contracts regulation 2000 govern forward exchange contract in India. The terms and conditions relate to the booking, cancellation, rebooking, edge of forward exchange contract are given below. A. The authorized dealer truth verification of documentary evidence should be satisfied about the genuineness of the underlying exposure. B. The maturity of the hedge should not exceed the maturity of the underlying transaction. C. The currency of hedge and tenure are left to the choice of customer. D. Where the exact amount of the underlying transaction is not ascertainable, the contract can be booked on the basis of the reasonable estimate. E. Foreign currency loans, bonds will be eligible for hedge only after final approval is accorded by the Reserve Bank, where such approval is necessary. F. In case of Global Depository Receipt (GDRS), the issue price should have been finalized. J. Substitution of contract for hedge trading transaction may be permitted by unauthorized dealer on being satisfied with the circumstances under which such substitution has become necessary. The operational aspect of the forward contract condition are given below. 1. Forward contract can be booked for resident customers who are exposed to exchange risk in respect of genuine transaction permit under current regulation. Number 2. Before entering into a forward contract, it should be ensured that the customer is in fact exposed to exchange risk in a permit currency in the underlying transaction. The choice of the currency in which the forward contract is entered into is left to the customer. Number 3. While booking forward contract, irrespective of the underlying transaction being a current account transaction or a capital account transaction, the bank should verify suitable documents to ensure the authenticity and the amount of the permit currency of the underlying transaction. Number 4. Forward contract may be booked for importers without production of documents up to the average of past 3 years export-import turnover. However, at any point of time, the outstanding contract shall not exceed 25% of eligible limit subject to a cap of USD 100 million. 5. Forward contract may be booked for the whole or part amount of the underlying transaction. Ordinarily, the maturity of the forward contract should match that of the underlying transaction. Number 6. The bank may permit to the customer to substitute an import-export order under a forward contract provided it is satisfied after verifying the documentary evidence that a genuine exposure to the extent of the amount of the original forward subsists under the substitute order. Booking of forward contract. 1. The transaction of booking of forward contract is initiated with the customer inquiring of his bank the rate of which the required forward currency is available. Before quoting a rate, the bank should get details about the currency, the period of forward cover including the particular of option, and the nature and tenor of the instrument. Number 2, the branch may not be fed with forward rates for all currencies by the dealing room. Even for major currencies, forward rates for standard delivery periods may only to available at branch. 3. If the rate quoted by the bank is acceptable to the customer, he is required to submit an application to the bank along with documentary evidence to support the application such as the sale contract. Number 4. After verification of the application and the documentary evidence submit, the bank prepares and forward exchange contract. Number 5. While preparing the contract, the following points are to be noted. A. The branch may give a serial number to the contract so that the further reference to it becomes easy. B. Contracts must state the first and last date of delivery. It is not permissible to state in contract delivery 1 week or delivery 1 month or delivery 3 months forward each. Letter C. Where more than one rate for bills with different deliveries are mentioned, the contract must state the amount and delivery against each rate. D. No usual option may be stated in any contract for the purchase of bills. That is, the contract should not give option to the customer to tender site bill or the alternative 30 days bill. It can be either site bill or a usual bill of a specified usual as mentioned in the contract. E. The first portion of the contract is relevant for booking of the contract. The second portion is used for recording deliveries under the contract. Letter F. The contract should be complete in all respect. Number 6. The number of copies of the contract prepared will depend upon the requirements of the bank. The original of the contract duly signed by the bank along with the duplicate is sent to the customer. Number 7. The details of contract are entered in a forward contract registered. The register also provides for a recording of details of documentary evidence verified. Number 8. The documents are verified and marked with the bank stamp and signature of the bank official. After entering the particular of the forward contract book, it is returned to the customer. Number 9. The due date of contract should be diarized in a regular and followed up on the due date. Number 10. Charges for booking the forward contract as prescribed by the bank concerned is recovered from the customer. Number 11. When the customer delivers foreign exchange on the due date, the transaction is done at the rate agreed. Calculation of fixed forward rates. The method of calculation of forward rates is similar to that for ready rates. The only difference is that in case of forward rates, the forward margin that is included in the rate will be for forward period as well. That is, the forward discount of the forward premium included in the buying rate will be not only for the transit period in usual, but also for the forward period. For instance, if the bank buy a 30-day site bill for 2 months forward, the total forward discount will be for 30 days usual plus 25 days transit plus 2 months forward round off to the higher month 4 months. For selling rates, forward margin is not considered while calculating ready rates. In the case of forward rates, the forward margin for the forward period will be included. In other respect, the calculation is the same that of ready rates. The method of calculation of forward rates is shown below. For TT buying rate, forward margin will be included only for forward period. Format for calculation of forward buying rate for dollar Dollar rupee market spot buying rate equals RS. Add forward premium for forward period transit and the usual period rounded off to the lower month or less forward discount for forward period transit. Period and usual period rounded off to the higher month plus RS less exchange margin equals RS. Forward buying rate for dollar RS rounded off to the nearest multiple of 0.0025 equals RS1. Format for calculation of forward selling rate. Dollar rupee. Market spot selling rate equals RS. Add forward premium for forward period or less forward discount for forward period plus RS equals RS. Add exchange margin to TT selling rate plus RS forward TT selling rate for dollar equals RS. 1. Add exchange margin for selling rate plus RS forward bill selling rate for dollar equals RS. 2. Round off to the measured multiple of 0.0025 when code to the customer. Calculation option forward rates. Under an option forward contract, the customer has the freedom to deliver the foreign exchange on any day during the option period. The bank should be quote a single exchange rate valid for the entire option period. Suppose that the following rates prevail for US dollar on 17th February. Buying selling RS spot 49.45, 49.50, spot March 0.05 to 0.06 p.m. Spot April 0.08 to 0.09 p.m. Spot May 0.11 to 0.19 p.m. Letter A. In respect of forecast transaction, the forward premium of delivery March is 5 pice. For delivery April is 9 pice. The additional premium of 3 pice for April over that for March represent the interest differential for 1 month. If a customer requires forward forecast rate for fixed delivery 30th April, the bank would concede him the premium up to April and quote him the rate of RS 49.53 per dollar. On the other hand, if the customer wants to deliver foreign exchange on 1st April, he is not entitled to the premium for April. The forward premium for April beginning would be the same as that for March end. The bank will therefore quote him a rate of RS 49.50 inclusive of premium up to March. Suppose the customer requires the bank to book an forward for case contract delivery April. It means the customer can deliver foreign exchange on any day during April, 1st April to 30. April, but the bank should quote a single rate which could be applicable to any of these days. The bank would play safe and quote the rate of RS 49.50. The rate for March for an option forward contract with option to the customer over the entire April. B. It may be argued on behalf of the customer that the option forward rate quote to him is based on the interbank option forward rate. The bank would cover itself by entering into forward sale with a marker with option to delivery 1st to 30th April, in which case the premium of 8 pice is available to it. 1.11 Execution of forward contract. The foreign exchange may be delivered on the due date as per the forward contract, or the delivery may take place earlier or later than the due date. Alternatively, the customer may be request cancellation of the contract. This request for cancellation may be made on the due date, before the due date, or later than the due date. Yet another alternative is that the customer may request postponement of the date of delivery under the forward contract. This request for postponement may be made on the due date, earlier than the due date, of after than the due date. The various possibilities are summarized in the form of a chart below. Forward contract. Delivery due date, early, late, cancellation extension. From chart, it is clear the forward contract may end up in any of the following ways. Number 1, delivery on the due date. Number 2, early delivery. 3, late delivery. 4, cancellation on the due date. 5, early cancellation. 6, late cancellation. 7, extension on the due date. 8, early extension. 9, late extension. Rule 8 of FIDI governing the subjects stipulates that the request for delivery, cancellation, or extension of the forward contract should be made by the customer on or before its maturity date. A forward contract which remains unutilized after the due date becomes an overdue contract. This section deals with the delivery on or before the due date. Delivery on due date. This is the situation envisaged when the forward contract was entered into when the foreign exchange is delivered on the due date. The rate applied for transaction would be the rate originally agreed. Irrespective of the spot rate prevailing, the following example and solution may be explained the practice of delivery on due date contract. Example, the bank has entered in a contract of forward for case of Swiss franc 10,000 with a customer at the rate of Rs 32,005,000. On the due date, the spot rate of Rs 32,007,600 to 8,200. State the amount that will be credited to the account of the customer and for case of bill. Solution: the bank would apply the rate of Rs 32,005,000 as originally agreed for. For case of the bill, the amount credited to the account would be Rs 3,025,000. Example, on 1st March, the bank entered in a forward contract for 2 months for selling USD at Rs 46,006,600. On 1st May, the contract is put through in retirement of a bill for USD 1,000 drawn and the customer on this date. The spot soft rates are Rs 49,003,100 to 5,600. Calculate the amount that would be debited to the account of the customer. Solution: the bank would apply the rate originally agreed upon Rs 46,006,600 and debit to the account of the customer with Rs 48,660. Early delivery. When a customer requests early delivery of forward contract, delivery before its due date, the bank may accede to the request provided the customer agreed to bear the loss, if any, that may accrue to the bank. When the bank entered in a forward sale contract with a customer, it would have covered its position by entering into a forward for case contract with the market for the same amount and for matching period. For example, suppose the bank has agreed on 1st April to sell USD 10,000 to the customer, delivery June at rate of Rs 49,001,400. Theoretically, on the same day, on 1st April, and forward for case would be made by the bank with the market for USD 10,000 due June. The idea is that during June, when the contract matured, the bank can realize that the forecast contract and sell it to the customer. Suppose further the customer requests that the contract be executed on 1st May itself. The bank would execute to the contract at original rate agreed upon. Bills Rs 49,001,400 and recovered separately any loss that is may suffered. Let us study how the loss is computed. On 1st May, the bank can sell US dollar to the customer by buying it from the market at the spot rate prevailing. But the bank has already entered into a forward for case contract with the market due June and it has to meet its commitment. Therefore, on 1st May, the bank would enter into another forward sale contract with the market due June and thus be able to dispose of the US dollar when received under the forward for case contract. Various operations involved may be summarized that with customer with market 1st April, a sale forward due June, B for buy forward due June, First May, C. Sell in execution of A. D. Buy spot to accomplish. C. Is sell forward due June to dispose of the process of B. 1st June. F. Receive delivery under B. G. Deliver proceed of F. In execution of E. On 1st May, the bank makes a spot purchase and forward sale of the same currency for the same value. The difference between the rate of which the currency is purchased and sold in a swap deals is the swap difference. The swap difference may be a swap loss or swap gain, depending upon the rates prevailing in the market. If the banks buy high and sell low, the difference is swap loss, recoverable from the customer. If the bank buy low and sell high, the difference is the swap gain payable to the customer. On 1st May, the bank receives rupees from the customer on sale of foreign exchange to him. It pays rupees to the market for the spot purchase made. If the amount paid exceed the amount received, the difference represents outlay of funds. Interest on outlay of funds is recoverable from the customer from the date of early delivery to the original due date at a rate not lower than the prime lending rate of the bank concerned. If the amount received exceeds the amount paid, the difference represents inflow of funds at its discretion. The bank may pay interest to the customer on inflow of funds at the appropriate rate applicable for term deposits for the period for which the funds remain with it. Charges for early delivery when comprised of A. Swap difference, B. Interest on outlay of funds, and in addition, at its discretion, the bank may be levy some processing charges. 1.12 Cancellation and extension of forward contract. The customer may approach the bank for cancellation when the underlying transaction becomes infructuous or for any other reason he wishes that no execute the forward contract. If the underlying transaction is likely to take place on the same subsequent to the maturity of forward contract already booked, he may seek extension in the due date of the contract. Such request for cancellation or extension can be made by the customer on or before the maturity of the forward contract. Cancellation on due date. When the forward purchase contract is cancelled on the due date, it is taken that the bank purchases at rate originally agreed and sell the same back to the customer at the ready-TT rate. The difference between these two rates is recovered from paid to the customer. If the forecast rate under the original forward contract is higher than the ready-TT selling rate, the difference is payable to the customer. If it is lower, the difference is recoverable from the customer. The amounts involved in purchase and sale of foreign currency are not passed through the customer account. Only the difference is recovered, paid by way of debit credit to the customer account. In the same way, when a forward sale contract is cancelled, it is treated as if the bank sale at the rate originally agreed and buy back at ready. Buying rate. The difference between these two rates is recovered from paid to the customer. Early cancellation. If a forward purchase contract is required to be cancelled by the customer earlier than the due date, it would be cancelled at the forward selling rate prevailing on the date of cancellation. The due date of this sale contract to synchronize with the due date of the original forward purchase contract. For example, assume that on 12 September, a 3 months forward purchase contract is entered into with a customer for USD 10,000. The due date of contract is 12 December. On 12 November, the customer comes to the bank and requires cancellation of the forward contract. The contract will be cancelled by the bank, selling back to the customer USD 10,000 at its forward TT selling rate for 1 month. The difference between the rate, the original forward purchase contract and forward TT selling rate applied on the date of cancellation is payable, receivable by the customer. If a forward sale contract is canceled earlier than the due date, the cancellation would be done at the forward forecast rate prevailing on that date, with due date to fall on the due date of the original forward sale contract. Extension on due date. An exporter finds he is not able to export on the due date but expect to do so in about 2 months. An importer is unable to pay on the due date but is confident of making payment a month later. In both these cases, they may approach their bank which they had entered into forward contract to postpone the due date of contract. Such postponement of the date of delivery under a forward contract is known as the extension of forward contract. When a forward contract is sold to be extended, it shall be cancelled and rebooked for the new delivery period at prevailing exchange rate. FIDI has clarified that it would not be necessary to load exchange margin when both the cancellation and rebooking of forward contract are undertaken simultaneously. However, it is observed that the bank do include margin for cancellation and rebooking as in any other case. Early extension. When the request for extension is received earlier to the due date, it would be cancelled at relevant forward rate, as in the case cancellation rebook at the current rate. Overdue forward contract. The customer has the right to utilize or cancel or extend the forward contract on or before its due date. No such right exists after the expiry of the contract. FIDI Rule 8 provides that the forward contract which remains overdue without any instruction from the customer concerned or before the due date shall on the 15th day from the date of maturity be automatically cancelled by the bank. The customer remains liable for exchange difference arising therefrom, but if it results in profit, it need not to be passed on the customer in case of delivery subsequent to the automatically cancellation.